Hi, it's Esther. I hope you guys are doing good. I am finished with, not finished, but I have the cover on my cookbook journal. I am still working on getting stuff in here, but you see I got my pockets and stuff laid in here. But it is covered. A 2.5 inch spine with 3 signatures and a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. So I hope you enjoyed the last video on making the cover and sewing in the signatures. If you're new here, it'd be great if you hit the subscribe button and the like button and leave me a comment on what you're working on. Y'all have a great day. So I have my junk journal cookbook ready to sew in or make the binding. But this is so far what it looks like. But I have the lace. That's some of the reason I wanted to wait, is to get the lace and stuff on the pages. It just makes it easier for me and to work with some of these pages, because once you get it sewn together, you're working with the whole book. But here's a little preview. I got plenty of pockets and stuff. I even made a little knife and a hidden paper clip. But what I'm going to do today is work on the cover. I'm going to do not going to be totally a soft cover, but I'm going to put boards in it and some polyester batting, I think. So I've got the boards from the back of scrapbook paper because I didn't want this to be real thick and heavy. I already got heavy. What I need to do is take one of my signatures, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I'm leaving about I don't know, a 1/4 inch on the top and the bottom, just because that's what I like. And then on the outside, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to, my papers do end right in here. So I'm going to add just a little bit for hangover. Let's see, yeah, see that'll be hanging out. I'm going to glue these together. Actually, because I want it to be a little bit stronger, I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac for right now. So even though my covers are not going to be heavyweight cardstock, or not heavyweight cardstock, but heavyweight cardboard, I am I'm going to reinforce the spine because this is going to be a big book. So what I'm doing is I'm just checking to make sure that it's all the same size. I'm a little off. Okay. So I have the spine in the front. So this is stabilizer, fabric stabilizer that's kind of just, it's fabric actually. It just glues to your fabric cover. I got this online. That's pretty cool. Purple, come as a set. I got a matching board. After James and Chrissy came, my sewing room kind of got rearranged, and I don't know where all this stuff is, so I just decided I'd go ahead and so I am going to use my cutting board, and I'm going to start over here, and I haven't ironed this really well down, so that's going to be another issue. But what I want to do first is get a straight edge. And I'm a quilter, so that's where the cutting board is coming in. And go, well, what I want to do, kind of, I'm lining up my bottom edge here with one line, and then over here I'm lining up my ruler with the line on the mat. And this is not ideal, but I am at my table sitting here trying to do this. But what I like about the rotary cutter is it does give you a nice clean edge. So let me go iron this back down, and I'll be right back. So what I'm going to do now that I went and ironed that, thinking about putting some quilt batting on it to give it a little fluff. Let's see. I'm just going to, I don't need this much, so I'm going to trim some of it. And I'm kind of trimming it bigger than what I need right now because I want it to ironing job didn't do very well. It looks okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is try and, I'm going to tack this a little bit. It has glue on the back, but I'm working in my bathroom on the counter, so I had to figure out what I could do. So before I get started with all of this, I'm going to take my boards and I'm kind of going to lay them out. That's the end that I trimmed like this. I want to leave half an inch to an inch. I'm going to go with whatever that is here, and this is where this ruler can come in handy, is you can lay it right here and you can line this up and have 1/8 of an inch. So if I wanted to go, actually I want to go a 1/4 of an inch from it. So then I'm just going to push my board up against the ruler. See here? there is 1/4 of an inch down the middle. But now I'm getting away from where we need to be at. Let me try this again. So I am measuring. I'm looking to see about where I want my fabric to go. See, I'm going to need all of that. So let's just go ahead and now, if you were a quilter, you could do this different ways. I'm just going to put a little bit of this on here because I am going to use my sewing machine. So if you're a quilter, you might not even do this step, but if you're not, this is the way we're going to go. So I'm just putting a little bit, not a lot because I don't want it to run through on my paper. I just want this to stick to it so it's not moving. So I don't know if you can see the glue, but it's just a little bit. I'm just trying to spread it around my batting and my fabric cover. I'm going to move this over. And I do have a generous size, so I have more than I need. What I'm going to do is go ahead and put some glue on the back of the top. And so I have directional fabric too, so the top's up here. You need to watch that if you're doing directional. And if you're not sewing, put a good amount of glue on there, but I am going to sew it. So, and like I said, I'm about 1/2 inch from there. Just slide it over just a little bit. And now I'm going to kind of see how straight I am, because I did not do that to start with, did I? Oh, that looks good. So I'm not giving a very good quilting lesson here. Do the same with the center piece. What I'm going to do is line this up at the 1/4 inch mark, and then I'm going to put this right down there, and that will give me my little space in between. So the width of this little space right here is going to be, you take into account the fabric, your board, and once you start doing them, I guess you kind of figure it out, but I generally use 1/4 of an inch for something like this. Here it goes. So James is in here. He's come for a visit if y'all hear him. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put this right there at the 1/4 inch mark. this bottom's a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch. Let's see. No. So now what I want to do is trim up my fabric. I'm going to stand up. So make sure that you tell kids like James, do not touch this. It will cut your fingers. So I'm going to go with about 3/4 of an inch on mine. You can go up to an inch. And I'm thinking about doing an inch. Just and I will be trimming the batting here in a few minutes. I'm just trying to get this trimmed down. So we're doing 3/4 of an inch. And you need a board ruler like this or a steel ruler that has a lip, because you can cut your finger right on off with this. And you see how I got my hands? I'm holding that board down, the ruler down as much as I can, so I've got a lot of pressure on it. You always close the blade when you lay it down. In this particular one, I liked it because it closes for me. So I'm just taking these little pieces away. And I got my quilting skills before I got my bookbinding skills, and I've had bookbinders confused by using both in my bookbinding. But I'm so used to these measurements and to cutting fabric like this that it's normal. See, I'm lining up the boards right there. You can see I'm always keep your fingers away. And it's a good idea if you're doing this to stand up and have pressure on it, but I know a lot of us don't have the room. And for me, I am 5'7", so this is a little bit of a stretch for me to get down there and do it, but I know that I need to because I want it straight. So I have all these little leftovers. You can keep them or throw them away. What I'm going to do is take my scissors and trim this down some because I don't need all that padding. I do want a little bit. I'm going to have to go back and do a voiceover on this one because James is over here crinkling potato chip bags. It's okay. We can do that. So I'm not trimming all the way. Trying to decide what color fabric do I want on the inside. Or do I even want fabric? You know, I could put scrapbook paper in here that I've been using to match. See, I got my covers on backwards. We'll measure this, which is 9 1/2. So I'm going to cut my paper to about 9 1/4 by 11 1/4. I might need that back in a minute. So see how I've got a little bit of overhang on here. So I do have this bright yellow that might could go right there in the middle. What I'm going to do is so I want enough room to have at least about 1 inch on each side. So the next question is, do I want to cover it? Actually, I think I want to do it this way, that way. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and need to trim my corners. So I'm trimming like 1/4 of an inch, not 1/4 of an inch, but let's see. If you take this and you put that little purple mark on your corner right here, you need about that much for to turn your corners. I'm just going to do all 4, and what I am going to do though is I'm going to glue this to the corners just in case I haven't done this right. So I'm just taking my little corner pieces, putting a little glue in. I'm going to go ahead and put them in all 4 spots. So then you just put this right side up, and that will help if your corners are not, there's not enough room, it will cover up that cardboard. Okay, so now what we want to do is pull this fabric over. And I didn't do a very good ironing job here, so my fabric is trying to come up from that. I do want to use my glue stick because it seems to hold on better to me when I have the glue stick. I don't like glue stick, but I have found so far that this kind of holds it down. I'll say that, but so I have these little, they're quilters use these, they're little clips, and I'm just going to put them right here to hold my fabric down while I'm working on this. Let's see. These clips are just the best. A whole lot better than the pins that I used to use to do all this. So it's a good thing when you can bring your one of your activities or creations, one of your little worlds, I guess, into another. It really does make a difference. So right here, I'm going to trim some of this off so I don't have as much bulk right there, because I want this to kind of go in. I may need some Fabri-Tac. Let's see. I'm trying to make just a nice little corner here. Sometimes it's easier said than done. So I really don't want to pull this real tight because I want my book to be able to bend and have a little bit of play over there. I'm so used to quilting that I try to make it very tight. Again, I'm going to trim a little bit of the cotton or the polyester batting out, but I'm not cutting my fabric, just batting. And that's to help with this, to put this corner in. So you're pushing right there, kind of pushing it in, and then you're rolling that. Well, it's supposed to be like a mitered corner, but my mitered corner is not looking too good. That's why I'm going to trim this part, which is the stabilizer that I put on it. Here's my corner again, and I don't think I give it enough area to. But if you notice that little corner right there is getting covered up. It wouldn't look so bad if it wasn't for my white under it. Yeah, I think I trimmed these a little too close. My tops on, let's see. My front and back got mixed up. I'll try and do this with the glue stick. And I'm going to move my clips on top to hold it down. I want this over just a little bit though. Yep, there's plenty of space in there to catch that. Not be too much right here. So I'm just kind of using several different approaches for this. I'm not sure how it's gonna, we'll see. My quilting comes in with my bookbinding, probably my knitting and crocheting somewhere in there. I'm going to need to do an introduction video before I forget for Junk Journaling World. I was going to see about doing it maybe when James was up here. Sometimes you can get too close. I think I've just about got too close. Probably gonna have to work on that. So I have some hanging out, as you can see right here, even over on this side. This one looks like it could move a little bit. Okay, so let me get my sewing machine set up, and you may have to put some corners on there. We'll see. I'm gonna try and record while I am sewing. Let's see. So what I'm gonna do is start in the back. I'm gonna put my stuff over there because this is a big piece. I'm going to use just a straight stitch with a long stitch length, and I'm going to do maybe 1/4 of an inch from the edge. So I've got my stitch length as far as it will go up. I'm just taking my time. And as I go, I'm pulling off these clips. I don't like the string, so I am going to trim them off. So when I turn, my sewing machine is set for going. It's supposed to stop in the down position, the needle. Right now it's just wanting to aggravate me. So the needle's down in the fabric, so you lift the foot, and I do have a quilting foot on this sewing machine because I can't find my other foot, but for things like this it works out good. And again, I'm just slowly stitching and looking to see. So now I'm coming up on the book board. And I'm holding the back up to keep it from hitting the wall and stuff on the back side. I don't know if you can see. I love that quilted look. So once again, I'm coming up to the corner. I'm going to go slow, and then I'm going to have my needle down, even if you have to turn the crank. And you can see here how it's coming out on this side. I actually missed some of the board there, so I might need to go in a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch. And I am going to quilt this, so I will show you how I quilt it. Coming to the end again. I'm just having to move over a little bit because I went a little too far. So I've made it all the way around. I'm going to take it out and kind of look at it, see what's going on. Set that down there for a minute. So what I'm going to do is just put some of the stabilizer right here to help cover that up. Actually, I don't want it quite. I want that part to cover but not go on the inside. So I'm kind of looking and seeing where the middle's at. I could probably use glue stick to hold this down. But I do kind of want it to cover up the fabric down in here. I am going to glue that down with glue stick right there and right here. So when I go back around, it's going to catch all of this, and hopefully it should catch the rest of that board that I have out. And I do want this raggedy edge. So that's why I'm tearing it. And then it also puts it on the straighter grain. I just think it's going to give it some more texture. And I'm pulling out some of the threads. So I want it to cover that, but I also want it to be about middle ways right here. So the glue stick is just kind of holding it down till I can get the quilting done. I think I'm going to quilt that part first. So another problem is that when it's bigger like this, it's all going to have to fit under your sewing machine. So my sewing machine downstairs actually has a bigger throat, which is this area right here. Right now I'm having to curl the journal up to get this quilting done. And on top of that is trying to shift on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stitch around this whole thing again like I did a while ago to hold it down. But this time I'm going to have my edge right here, the edge of the foot. Let's see. So I'm just doing long quilting rows. And this is a junk journal, so I am just kind of looking at it, and I didn't go and measure my quilting out, so try this.